Auditors need to make sure they can back up their statements with sufficient and reliable evidence. Otherwise, they lose all credibility. Auditors don't have a sixth sense that allows them to sense findings. They need to gather sufficient and appropriate evidence to draw reasonable conclusions. If they don't do this, they won't be able to prove their findings and will have wasted everybody's time. There are four factors we can use to determine how reliable and sufficient a piece of evidence is. The first is independence. This considers who provided the evidence. If someone from the team being audited creates and provides the evidence, it is not reliable because they could change it before giving it to the auditor. It is more reliable for the internal auditor to gather the evidence themselves, as they are separate from the area being audited. Even better if a third party who is completely independent can gather and provide the evidence. It is even more reliable as they won't have any bias. The next factor is qualification. This looks at how capable the person is providing the evidence. IT systems can be complicated, so we can't rely on someone with no technical skills to assess and gather evidence. Instead, someone with knowledge and expertise should gather that evidence, which is usually the auditor. It is possible that the auditor is not familiar with the technology being audited. In these cases, the auditor should not pretend that they know what they are doing. Instead, they should request help from an expert, as the expert will be able to provide the most reliable evidence. The third factor is objectivity. This looks at what type of evidence is being provided. If the auditee just says that something is okay over the phone, this is not reliable or sufficient evidence. It doesn't prove anything. It is more reliable to see documentation that has been signed off by management, as it shows intent. But again, this still doesn't prove the control is in place. Just because something is written down doesn't mean it is being followed. Ideally, we will gather evidence that has been generated by the system, as this allows us to make objective statements about how the control is operating. The last factor is timing. This looks at when the evidence was collected. If the evidence we have gathered is old, it probably won't reflect the current status of the controls we are testing, so we should try and gather evidence that is more recent. But the most reliable evidence is collected in real time, as this gives us the most accurate reflection of how the control is operating. In the CISA exam, it is common to get questions that describe a scenario and then ask you which evidence is the most reliable. The correct answer will depend on the scenario, but this hierarchy should help you identify the correct answer. There is quite a lot to take in from this video, so I recommend that you download the reliable evidence hierarchy to use as a reference.